Welcome to another episode of the New Earth Architectress podcast. My name is Aisha Rose Melodie Hassan, and I am an architect, alchemical healer, and the creator of the Sacred Blueprint. This is a cutting-edge vessel of courses and programs for women architects, landscape architects, land stewards who are ready to birth the temples of the new earth for humanity's highest unfoldment, freedom, and abundance. The Sacred Blueprint is going next level this year, 2026. I'm recording this December 2025, and I am feeling that we are on a significant threshold, a significant cusp, transitioning from the old world to the new world, like it's never been before. This is a significant choice point for humanity and for you, bold, brave, nature-loving, heart-centered, spirit-conscious women architects who are feeling what's going on in the collective on this planet right now and realizing, awakening to the truth of who you truly are, awakening to the truth of your spiritual, creative, intuitive capacities. And as a result of this awakening, you are seeing the lies all around you. You are seeing the falsities. I don't even know if that's a word. You are seeing what is false. You are seeing what is not in the best interest of humanity and your soul. You can smell it. You can smell it from miles away now. What the powers that were are and have been construing, constructing, manipulating, how they have been deliberately through various mechanisms, whether it be fear propaganda, war propaganda, health propaganda, whatever the areas are, it is directly affecting the field of architecture, and you can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it. Whether it be the movement to digitize buildings and homes and gardens and communities, fully electrify, digitize via the smart homes movement. Whether it be to put all kinds of very strict regulations around climate change. I personally don't feel that the climate change agenda is true to what Mother Gaia, what Mother Earth is actually going through on a spiritual, energetic level, as well as a physical. And just let's bring it down to a more common example here, the dollars for hours model, the dollars for hours architecture consulting model. Whether you're working with fixed fees, whether you're working with dollars for hours, like hourly, it doesn't matter. It's all based on that. And the whole construction of the way that we've been trained, I would go as far to say indoctrinated into the design world, the architecture world, what it requires you to do if you want to play the game within this matrix, this agenda, this machine, you need to overwork, overplease, overdo. Who remembers all those all-nighters, right, in university, to be the, just so that you can be the top of the class, or not even just, pass the design studio, right? An excessive amount now of digital dependency on the digital softwares, rather than having the contact with real materials in the wood shop or the workshop. I'm shifting to my experience working in various offices and firms, and while it's all not horrible and bad, I would say 70%, 80% of my experience working in architecture offices was completely depleting. And completely draining my soul. Having maybe like 2 weeks of vacation per year, and working so hard in front of the computer. Okay, sometimes we would have site visits to projects, etc. But generally, this 5 day per week, 40 hours, I'm calculating the hours, but it's actually way more for architects, is not, if we want to use some more mainstream words, sustainable. It is not the recipe for smooth and easeful creation. It is not. It is not efficient. I have discovered that we can birth, especially women architects who have spiritual gifts, we can birth blueprints with laser precision, which do not require us to be working 50, 60-hour weeks. I just had the most incredible transmission and download for a blueprint, entire site plan. So this is not just one building, it's several buildings. An entire site plan and a home design. A beautiful, beautiful earth temple design. And I transmitted that in a matter of 1 hour. It all came through. Why? Well, that's a longer story, and that's part of the Sacred Blueprint teachings. But I'll give you a taste. It's because we are not doing it alone. We are truly co-creating. I am truly co-creating with my clients in the Sacred Blueprint system. And we are lasering in on the design, the space, the configurations, the land energetics, the land healing that needs to occur through a process, through a sacred, deep, spiritual process that helps you get super crystal clear on the optimal blueprint. Because it is designed for my client's soul. Now, who else is part of our team? Well, spirit is part of our team. Animal spirits show up. Nature spirits, cosmic council, light beings, angels. These are all, light beings and angels in my perspective are all the same. all different kinds of energies come in once you start to once you set up the right container. And it becomes so easy. And now I am leading a flourishing business through the Sacred Blueprint system, serving the pioneers of the new earth, the pioneers of the new earth people. I get to choose who I work with. I get to work on the projects that bring me the most joy, the projects that I believe in. How many of you, I'm raising my hand right now, how many of you have been resentful after working on a project with a client that completely sucked your energy? And the project itself wasn't something that was an expression of your values. You're doing it for money, or maybe you had to do it because you were an employee at an office. Oh my God, I just remember waking up like in the mornings before going to work and just like cringing, like I was a project leader on one of these house projects with clients that were just so not connected and didn't really, really care about a new creative approach. And they just, they would kind of talk the talk. Yeah, we love nature. Yeah, we respect it and all this. But then there was this lack of wanting to explore and learn something new. And so they just ended up building a cookie cutter home. One of my architect friends would call it a McMansion. Just really mainstream, nothing that is anchoring the new earth in. Right? And so this is the gift that you have as a spiritual architect. This is the gift that you have to weave the world of energy and spirit into architecture. AI cannot do this. All right? So your job is basically already been taken over by AI. You're going to see in 1 week's time how much it's going to change the architecture field and the economy. Like it's already, that was yesterday. It's done. And I think in the US, did they announce some kind of a bill? And I think that a lot of the architects associations in various states will try to fight that, but that they're regarding architecture no longer as a profession. And so it's interesting, actually. I'm always listening to the impulses, the energetic impulses behind these things. And while I think there's, a lot that's not good about that, okay, we as architects deserve, you could say, a professional title, considering all the hard work that we put into design, into training, into getting our certificate of practice, etc. All those internships, etc. Right, at various offices, learning how to build safe buildings, etc. I look at the bigger picture and I say, okay, well, maybe this is also a sign that architecture needs to move into a different direction. In my opinion, take it or leave it, architecture is controlled. This whole system is controlled by a paradigm, a way of thinking, a mindset. Again, like I started out in this episode, where it requires you to overwork like a machine. Sure, there are exceptions to what I'm saying, but in general, and especially when I observe women architects in the field, only recently are we seeing women starting to express their womanhood in architecture, and that it's a celebration. And I think of Anna Heringer, who is such an idol. She's an amazing woman, and she really gave birth to an architecture based on love rather than an architecture based on martyrdom and pain and ego, right? How many of you can just picture some of these super egotistical architects that you've worked with or that are famous right now, right? The black turtleneck architects. No offense if you have a black turtleneck. I think I've got some black turtlenecks, but you know what I mean, right? And we're seeing it. It's on the rise, and she's now receiving the honors, the gratitude, the appreciation, the awards for all the work that she's done with natural materials and clay and experimenting with bamboos and cob walls and working for humanity, building those schools, the orphanages, I believe, and various different kinds of projects that she worked on in her early years, and now she's continuing to build architecture for humanity. I think that's also an organization, right? Isn't it? That's Architects Without Borders. Yeah, that's Architects Without Borders. So back to but what we're talking about here is not only to work in a sustainable way, to work with respecting Mother Nature, but we're taking it to the next level here with the Sacred Blueprint women, weaving spirit and energetics into the design practice, because this is the future. Everything else is going to fall away. As we ascend, people, as we are ascending out of materiality, it is our job actually to spiritualize matter. And more people, as they wake up, especially the people in the freedom movement, the consciousness movement, the wellness movement, they are starting to connect the dots and see how critical it is to work with energy, spirit, conscious people in their community projects, their hotel projects, their ecological resort projects. So there's tons of projects coming in, people. They're coming into my office, my studio, and it's time to build this movement together. So the topic of this episode, from depleted to divine, your path to spirit architect mastery. From depleted to divine. From depleted to divine. Just tune into that. From depleted to divine. What do you see as I repeat these words? This is like a movement across a threshold. What does that mean for you? To let go of the depletion. You're at choice. Let go of the depletion and step into your divinity, into your divine. Notice what's coming forward as I speak these words. Close your eyes for a moment. Put aside your phone if you're multitasking. Close the door. Take a few breaths. Listen. From depleted to divine. What does that mean for your way of practicing architecture, for your architecture practice? For me, I see overflowing abundance, and I know I experience it because I'm living it right now. There's a way of being. There's a way of walking that affects every single facet of your life. There's a way of holding the torch, not only for nature, but for spirit. Holding the torch and declaring and speaking out what you've been hiding for eons and eons of time. You've been carrying this sacred seed for a long time, and you've been protecting it. In this seed are codes, lights, I'm hearing light language, colors, instruction books, frequencies, experiences that you've gained from life to life. And now it's time to bring it all together. It's time to put the pieces of the temple back together again. And it's your sacred duty to do so, not because it's a nice thing to do, not because it's cool, not because it's trendy to be spiritual. No, it's because it's your sacred duty. And the earth needs you. She needs you right now. At this critical choice point that we're crossing as a collective, as humanity. These temples are the keys to our freedom. And this is not just an airy-fairy word, freedom. I'm talking seriously about our freedom. There is an increasing move towards, push towards imprisoning and enslaving people. We see it everywhere. We see it everywhere. You would think that at this point in our evolution, quote unquote, we would have gotten it by now that, okay, there are certain forms to use for schools that support the healthy unfoldment and development of children. We should have gotten it by now that hospitals, I don't even like that word. We should have gotten it by now that we should never use the word hospitals, and that they should be healing centers. And of course, there are examples of various cultures in different parts of the world that did implement the right type of healing centers that really fostered healing. But for the most part, many of those were closed down in Turkey, actually. The ones that were remaining from the Ottoman Empire and prior. Now they're just kind of like museums, but they're not really practiced. Maybe just some groups. Healing rituals with water, with music, with sacred geometries, with forms, with natural materials, with the light entering the space. Why don't we have hospitals? Or I'm using the word because it's the programming. It's the programming. I keep on using the word hospital. It shouldn't be called that. That's kind of called that's like saying that's the sick building. That's the building for sick people. No. We need healing centers. We need transformation centers. We need abundance centers. We need rejuvenation, restoration centers. And all the architecture and the forms, the rule books, the guidebooks, the references, the precedent is within your sacred seed that you're carrying with you. Now, does it mean that you copying you're copying all those old forms. No, you're going to be bringing that wisdom into the new architecture, into a totally new way. Because there's a different requirement. There's a different trajectory, a different way that we are evolving now. Again, it is related to the ascension process and how we are actually relinquishing our attachments to material form. That's the irony. It's the irony. Oh, us architects. Oh my goodness. But we love form, don't we? We love form. And we know deep down how powerful it is. We know deep down how much it can change this world. And I shared this with a cab driver the other day. I said, the best architect knows when to say stop. No, we will not build on this location. We will not build on this piece of land. That's the feminine at work, people. We don't always need to develop. We don't always need to build. And on the other side, I'm not a believer in tiptoeing around nature and always building something so light in structure that it can be disassembled. It can be in certain instances. I respect architects who really develop those beautiful designs and systems. But I'm not for lack of a better word, believer in that, we have to tread the earth lightly. Actually, Rudolf Steiner talked about how stone loves to be carved, loves to be sculpted, because it actually releases the elemental in the stone. So we're balancing here. We're balancing between the feminine and the masculine. Okay? Architecture is a geomantic tool, and it can energize, activate, harmonize, neutralize certain energetics on the property. And this is what I get into in more detail in the Sacred Blueprint, and how you can really listen to the energetics of land, of place, and create a design that really honors that place in co-creation with nature. So going back to my example of birthing this design with laser precision, most of the work has been a deep listening with my client. We do not rush. I do not rush to start drawing the design at the beginning. No, we allow the creation to germinate within the depths of our being. And we trust. I'm so fortunate to have these beautiful clients who are willing to trust. Sometimes it can be some scary, edgy, uncomfortable, triggering moments, because the Sacred Blueprint is actually ultimately a healing modality. The blueprint heals the land, and the blueprint heals my clients. Helps them to transform, help them to step into their next level selves. But when we allow for the feminine, the divine feminine, to weave her magic, a lot of that means to trust the mystery, to surrender to the mystery, to accept the dark and the void, and accept the chaos and perhaps even the messiness that can come with that. And because we trusted, and because we honored the nature spirits and the land, and called in our cosmic council, that blueprint birthed seamlessly, effortlessly. Can there be challenges sometimes? Of course. Of course, we're human. But I want to equip you with the right tools to face those challenges, to navigate them with grace, with ease, with also a capacity to listen deeply to those challenges and understand what the teachings are behind those challenges. That's true spiritual work. There are no shortcuts here. And I do not want you to be slaving over drawings anymore. Hundreds of options, back and forth with the client, back and forth, back and forth. Problems with getting the permit and zoning and that paradigm is done. It's over. And it's been formulated as it's an overlay. Think of a grid that is just there to make you smaller, more constricted, more tight. And now when I'm saying the word tight, I'm thinking about feminine sexual power and her creative life force. There is a movement, or I don't like that word. It's not, I love the word movement, but it's not appropriate for what I'm about to say. There is an agenda to eradicate the power of the feminine. There's an agenda to eradicate our deep union and connection to nature. Why? Why? Why, I wonder? Could it be that nature has all the ingredients for our profound, long-lasting healing? This doesn't mean that I'm against dying. Please do not misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm talking about an empowerment. Nature holds those keys. She holds an intelligence that in union with the cosmic realms. Okay, this is not just about looking at Earth as a physical ball of matter. Okay, this is about being able to access the answers and the solutions for our freedom, for our sovereignty, for our truth, for our radiance, our well-being, our joy. And I believe, and I know that there is an agenda to eradicate the woman, the womb. They are already starting to, maybe it's already complete. I mean, we don't know really what's happening behind closed doors, but I think there's machines, right, that can give birth to babies instead of wombs. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Okay, now I'm going to bring a new layer in. Okay, and I'm going to tie this back to architecture and how this is all linked to you stepping into your spirit architect mastery. So, going back to the womb, whether you have children or not, whether you have a physical womb or not, this is not important. Sure, if you don't have a physical womb, maybe you have gone through some health challenges and you need to work with balancing the energetics within your organs and your body and all of that. I mean, I hope that you're doing that if that's someone, without a womb. But in general, right, God gives us a womb, the woman a womb, because we are the force of creation, not independent of men. Of course, we need the men. The men carry the seed, right? But that is how we create. And it is a great mystery that only really God knows about. Now, human beings, there's a certain group of people that are trying to eradicate all of that, and they're trying to play God. This is very dangerous. So now go back. Now start to piece it all together, because the amnesia may be very strong. I was completely under the spell of amnesia. Foggy thinking, depression, chronic illness, not able to speak my voice, my truth. Now think about the architecture world. In general, for a long time, women had to prove themselves to be as strong and as capable as men in the architecture world. It's still like that, actually. It's a little bit changing, and I love seeing those changes in the practice, in the field. You know, I'll give a shout out to my colleague Rachel Gorchowski. She's really leading a beautiful office, and she's a heart-centered spirit architect who is, declaring that design is spiritual. We're the pioneers. These are the pioneers. But for the most part, women have been trying to prove themselves in a man's world. So that's another way that the agenda, the system, has tried to eradicate the magic and the intuition of women. Right? You can't talk about Mother Nature as being a living being. Whereas if you go back to our Indigenous brothers and sisters or ancient cultures in different parts of the world, like the high badass grandma, who maybe was like the leader of a village or of a tribe or something. I mean, she's just like, woof, pulsing and emanating and oozing with the energetics of Mother Earth, because she is so deeply connected to the pulse of Mother Earth. And she speaks on behalf of her. It's her duty. And her clothing is certainly not this like rigid, pinned, tight, buttoned down, masculine shirt with a blazer, and tight pants with like buttons that, are too tight, that just like, or like bras for that matter with metal. I mean, I've worn the metal rod bras, whatever you want to call them. And I didn't know that was actually a form of caging women up. But now people are waking up, and we can now actually buy some sports bras or bras that don't have any of that shit. Look, it's everywhere. It's in the details, down to the doorknob, down to your chair, down to the office structure. How many offices have you seen where they're just rows and rows and rows of chairs and desks, chairs and desks, chairs and desks, computer, 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 computer? And for the most part, architects are wearing black or gray, dark gray, black, white, dark gray. Again, though, there's a movement. You can see it now in new architecture. I love following, actually, every once in a while, the architects, some women architects in Africa, and also some Indigenous architects. But I'm gonna say something bold here. I still have not yet seen, let's say, more famous architects in those circles, or in those examples that I was just sharing, that are weaving spirit openly and boldly. I think that they're still, either they're hiding it, or we're just not seeing those architects. And the work that they're doing, I feel, is still missing a big piece of the puzzle in terms of energetics. So, from divine to depleted, your path to spirit architect mastery. Look, women, I know you feel the nudges. I know you feel and hear the call from spirit. And what's likely happening is in you, if you're on the threshold, if you're on the edge, if you're considering to quit your job at a firm, or you are perhaps running your own office, but you're realizing, okay, there's so many ways that I'm operating this business that's just not aligned with my higher self, my true soul's calling. You may be taking on clients that are just draining you and depleting you, like I talked about earlier. Projects that you're saying yes to, projects because you feel like we need to help everyone, right? It's not right. It's not correct, or it's not a good thing to do to be selective. There's this part of you, and it's likely the part of you that's the healer, because I used to be like that. I wanted to heal everyone. I wanted to be everyone's friend, nice to everyone. And that was just, spreading yourself out too thin. And then there's no energy left to nourish you at the core. We're at a choice point. We are at a choice point, and I want you to really take a book out, a journal. I'm just looking at my list of things, notes that I wanted to share during this podcast. Take a piece of paper out, take your journal out, and write down, what are the things that you're ready to lay down, that you know you need to lay down. Lay down meaning put to rest, to step over this threshold into your divine self, into your true spirit architect mastery. And I recommend that you don't search for things that are all like, okay, well, I need to figure out like what's the ingredient and the way to design spiritual architecture. Now, take yourself down more to you, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your family, your children, your relationship with your business, your relationship with your colleagues. Just take a moment to observe the world that actually on a deep level you've constructed around you. And this world that you've constructed around you is likely full of beautiful things, sure. But I know, because I'm the one, I'm speaking to the women that I was in the same situation as years ago. It's likely that your body is suffering from some kind of illness. Maybe you have psychological issues, some anxiety, some depression, issues sleeping, issues with eating. Maybe you're blaming your husband or your partner all the time. You're not lashing out. That's pretty harsh, but well, maybe you are. You are reacting and yelling and getting angry in your home, frustrated that you don't have the life of your dreams, and blaming others for that. Dreading going to the office in the mornings, just completely burnt out. Write down a list. What is required for you to do? This is a mindset thing. This is a spiritual exercise. What is required for you to lay down and put to rest in order to step into your divine? Define that. What is stepping into your divine feeling like for you? I took you through that brief exercise earlier. Write it down. What came through for you? What came through? Notice how it made your body feel to step into your divine. Maybe you're seeing a vision right now of really, truly the creations that you want to birth on this planet and the people that you want to birth them with. This is about a new way of walking and a new way of being that honors your divine feminine and honors all the parts of you. So there's so many women that come to me that are, practicing some kind of spiritual magic behind closed doors or within their spiritual circles. But during the day, they're practicing architecture, but they're not bringing the two worlds together. Maybe they dip their toes and try to bring some safe, maybe like feng shui or some biogeometry. And when I say safe about those two, it doesn't mean that they're kind of light and mainstream practices. Of course, feng shui and biogeometry are very deep practices. But it's kind of like you just dip your toe into it a bit with the design and you just choose some projects, you work on some of them, and then the other ones you just do in the conventional way. No, that is such a waste of energy for you. It is such a waste of energy. I want you to be more laser precise in 2026 with your decisions, with what nourishes you, and it's going to require you to make some declarations and choices. The other thing I want to say before I close, there's a couple things, but the other thing I want to say is that crossing over from depleted to divine can be challenging, because when you are even closer, they talk about the breakdown before the breakthrough in the coaching world, in the personal development world. If certain, let's say, beings and energies that have they're happy that you are within the familiar in the old world, you are in kind of survival consciousness, and you're keeping yourself small. Perhaps you're lazy. You're not really wanting to step outside of the program. There's going to be some energies that are going to try to stop you from moving into your divine. And those energies can show up in a gazillion different ways. It could be distractions from social media, distractions coming into your inbox. It can be distractions coming in from family, maybe even more like sabotage. Partners who are like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you quitting your job or leaving, there's no way in hell that anybody's going to pay you for your spiritual gifts. You need to put money on the table. I'm just giving some examples of what my clients have heard. You may be scared of being ostracized, judged, ridiculed. You may be scared of, I talked about money. What else? You tell me. You tell me. You know what they are. Or you may be using your family and your children as an excuse. I'll wait until they're older, until I do this, this, and this. The new world is coming rapidly, and the new world is a being in herself, in itself. And this new world being is going to rapidly, and if not already is, break down what is not in your highest good, for your highest good. It's just going to sever it, cut it out. It could be relationships. It could be jobs. It could be, and I've seen I see this in the women that I mentor. And that can be scary, and I get it, and it's normal, it's natural to be scary. The good news is that you don't have to do it alone. I am building a community, a movement, so that we can support each other as these huge shifts happen. And as we ascend, we're going to need each other. And it's not just for spiritual and personal development reasons. I have an intuition that we will be needing each other also to literally set up communities, literally set up new money systems, literally establish our sovereignty separate from the soul-sucking, soul-enslaving powers that were. So this is next level, women. And we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. So this is connected to this community that I'm building, connected to my teachings of the sacred blueprint. This is really like a mystery school for architects. And it's also a guide, a structure. There's so many women tell me this when they come to me, that they need structure, that they don't know where to begin, where to end. You know, everything like agreements and, okay, I'm getting into some details here, but the structure to be able to birth these blueprints with success. I'm a master at structure. That is my gift. And the divine feminine has taught me how to unravel and loosen up and really flow with her creative power. But I am a teacher that provides a healthy structure for you to learn how to bridge spirit with form successfully. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Now, the next portal, the gateway for you to be able to learn how to step into your priestess architect, your spirit architect, and step into your divine is the VIP Ephesus retreat, which is coming up in May, from May 11th to May 16th, 2026. My collaborator, Anemona Krishan, and I are going to be leading this retreat for 5 days this time. We've been leading them for 4 days. We're realizing women need more time to integrate at our amazing, deluxe, stunning retreat center in Ephesus. Ephesus is in Turkey, across from the Greek islands, close to the city of Izmir, where I live. Well, I live outside of Izmir. So I live fairly close to Ephesus. And we are calling in an intimate container of women architects and landscape architects who are dedicated, ready to do what it takes to bridge spirit with form and let go of the depletion, the draining, the slavery system, really, and move into your true empowered self and move into merging all your parts together, bringing the temple back together again within you to birth the sacred architecture of the future. I'm gathering the women, we're building a community, and I see that we are going to be building these temples together. So, wow. Did you feel the power moving through this session? This is really next level women, and it's really for the women who are committed and devoted. I'm not interested in someone who is half committed, kind of committed, just want to dip their toes in it. No, I want a 10 out of 10 commitment. I want a 10 out of 10 commitment, women who are ready to do what it takes. And we are here to support you every step of the way. All right. I feel complete. Make sure you stay to watch our beautiful video showing the beautiful moments of the sacred architecture and our sacred communion ceremonies at the temples. And I can't wait to see you in the group. May 11th to 16th, 2026. We have a super early bird discount on. It is a 20% discount off of the entire investment. Hotel is included. Airport pickup and drop off is included. Breakfast and dinner is included. You're going to see how much we're going to eat in breakfast, and we barely have any room left for lunch. But we always get like fruits, beautiful fruits and snacks from the market, and you will be very well fed, trust me, with incredibly delicious food. Be out in nature, have tons of fun with kindred women who speak the same spirit language as you, and anything else, museum entrance fees, everything, it's all included. All you need to do is apply. Applying does not mean that you're committing yet, nor does it guarantee that you're going to be accepted. If you're feeling the yes, your soul is like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Apply, okay? Apply. And watch how the application is going to start shifting the series of events. A series of events will start to unfold, and magical opportunities always start to stream in. There's some women who have applied, even though they were not sure, they were fucking scared that they weren't going to have enough cash or this or that. This is the mind. You know, before we even get on a call, they're making up all kinds of excuses why they can't show up, why they can't do this. But something within them told them to apply. And then a whole incredible series of magical opportunities started to open up for them. And the abundance was being fed to them, or they were given the abundance, the financial abundance, the time abundance, the energy abundance. 5 nights, 5 days at one of the biggest power places in the world. I can't wait to see you there. And you will see the link with for the sign up information. All you need to do is sign up, and you'll receive an email with program details, a PDF, as well as the application form. December 21st on solstice, winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, your 20% super early bird discount expires for our phenomenal, magical VIP Ephesus retreat. All right, I'm out, and see you in the next episode. Spirit Architects! We're building the movement, baby. All right. Mwah. Bye-bye. Join a one-of-a-kind, high-caliber mentorship journey at one of the biggest power places in the world. Tap the sacred architecture and overflowing life force in the land to discover how to design healing spaces with ease and flow. Activate your divine creation capacities and remember who you truly are, so you build the beauty you once knew how to build. Commune with kindred women who hear the call to bridge spirit with form to accelerate your legacy projects and business success. Enter the great mystery to uncover the keys and codes to your soul's mission and joy. You are an ancient temple builder of the future. It's time to come out of hiding and unleash your intuitive powers to pioneer the sanctuaries of our new earth.